speed, they sound impressive, yet they're not actually that complicated to play. Runs are about navigating scales in an upward or downward momentum. A scale run is heard as a quick burst of phrasing that has more of a repetitive, linear pattern than, say, string skipping or arpeggiation. What you need to think about is using the run as a lead up or down to a note you wish to emphasize or rest on. This target note is like a punctuation mark that puts the run phrase into context. The run is the path that leads the listener to the destination note. The most basic run you can play is to simply move up or down a scale's tones consecutively. Although very linear sounding, you do hear such runs being used, especially in classical music, and in the right context, this kind of pure run of a scale can sound really effective. Let's look at a scale pattern as an example. That's the Lydian scale in its first position. If we wanted to use the scale in a solo, we could incorporate a very simple run phrase as follows. So in that example, the straight run was a short, snappy lead up to the sharp fourth tone of the scale, part of Lydian's distinctive flavour. That's the tone I wanted to highlight, and it was enhanced by using it to punctuate a run. You don't have to end on a consecutive tone from the scale either. For example, just knowing in advance what your target note is will help you put any run you use into context, making it sound natural and melodic. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from experimenting with different target notes, and that should be a large part of your scale theory time. Now, straight runs are great, but often you can get more expression out of a scale by staggering the run pattern. For example, working down a scale, you could take 3 steps forward, 1 step back, which is the example I'm using here with the Dorian scale. Remember to use strict alternate picking. So I move down or up 3 consecutive tones in the scale, jump back a tone, 3 more forward, 1 back, etc. You can hear how this also defines the rhythm of the run. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, etc. Of course, you don't have to go from the top to bottom or bottom to top of a scale pattern. You may find some runs only need to fill a short gap in your solos to be effective. Moving up the scale, we could take 4 steps forward and 2 back. If you can get up to a decent speed with just these 2 basic run patterns, and you use them in the context of target notes, you'll be surprised at how easy it is to wow the listener in your solos. The run can be used as a lead up to the climax of a lick, where you apply a bend or wild vibrato and really punctuate the phrase. More on that another time. Now, these patterns can get a little and a lot more complex. Up until now, our steps forward and back have been from one consecutive scale tone to the next or previous. What if, for example, on the steps back, we were to skip a tone? Let's take a look, this time using minor pentatonic. We're now taking larger steps back in our runs. We're skipping a tone as we move back, in other words. The fingering for this particular exercise is a little trickier, because as you move down, you'll notice that some movements involve moving from one string to the next on the same fret. This involves having to roll the finger back to fret the string directly above and get a clean separation of notes. Have patience with this, because at first it'll feel awkward, but like with chords, hammer-ons, bends, etc., it's all about repeated action to set in that muscle memory. Once you get it, you won't forget it, and you'll be able to apply it to any scale you use. Notice how the natural rhythm for the above run is different from before. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, etc. And it doesn't stop there. In the next part, we'll look at more complex run patterns. Keep practicing what we've looked at so far, ideally using a metronome to speed up gradually. See if you can apply these basic staggered run patterns to other scales you know. Cheers.